Going on, everybody? How you guys doing out there? This is EB Crypto, Eric Brent, and today I'm talking about individuals that I've met in my life, and we've all met individuals that are so impactful in our lives. And I believe that God put these individuals in our lives to give us something that we might need during the course of this thing that we call life. Because we're all on a spiritual journey. I believe that we're all spiritual entities in a physical body. But I want to say and share with you guys about one of the individuals. I've met several people in my life. I'm not going to say it was one, but there are several individuals that I've had the opportunity to meet in my life that have actually really impacted the course of my life. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. All right. What's going on, guys? I'm back. I'm back. This is Eric Brent, EB Crypto. And we're talking about individuals that have impacted your life significantly. We all have them, and sometimes we don't acknowledge them until they're absent. It seems like absence makes the heart grow fonder, but absence also make you understand certain things that individuals that might have been in your life that was very, very instrumental, and you may not understand their part and their role in your life until they're gone. Unfortunately, sometimes that happens. But I understood this individual's importance in my life at the time when I met him. I actually met him before I met him. I'm going to explain that as well. And he had a very instrumental role in the direction that I ended up taking in life. And you guys know me, I've been doing economics for a while, I've been doing money for a while. I was a real estate appraiser, and I've loved telling value. I love learning how to accumulate and how to estimate the value of properties. And I did commercial properties, I did golf courses, I did hotels, I did a lot of different properties, like hamburger stands, all kind of different things. And I enjoyed value. I enjoyed trying to figure out what the estimated value was. And it's just a professional opinion. But during that time, I was really, really engulfed in money, understanding money, because the banks are relying on me to tell them basically what a property is worth. So I had to really understand all the little tricks to the trades, the different approaches and stuff like that. But I've been on this internet since 2008 doing videos. Been doing a lot of videos, but since around 2016, 17, I launched myself into the cryptocurrency industry. And when I launched myself into that industry, I started learning a lot of different things about money that I never knew, that wasn't taught in college, wasn't taught in some of my classes that I took. And so now I want to share with you one of the individuals that was very instrumental in the person I have become today. And this guy right here, if you guys don't know who that is, we'll take a pause for a minute. That's G. Edward Griffin. And this guy right here, I said I met him before I met him because I read his book, and I read his thoughts, and I read his experience and his expertise. And he's so prolific when it comes to how governments run, and how banks run, how financial institutions run. And I met this guy like years. I read his book in the 90s, actually, and I must have read about 2,500 books in my life. I love reading. I'm an avid reader. But when I read his book, it changed the way I think about money. It changed the way I think about governments. It changed the way I think about business. It changed the way I think about this whole globalization, CBDC, centralized central bank digital currency, and cryptocurrencies, and decentralization versus centralization. I didn't understand any of that when I read his book. But when crypto came out in like 2008, I didn't get into it until around 2017. But I read his book in the 90s. So it just made everything make more sense to me once I did get introduced to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and stuff like that. I was able to really understand money differently. So I want to share this with you guys. It's very imperative that you guys go ahead and start to read this book right here, which is called The Creature from Jekyll Island. And this book was written to explain to us that This thing here called the Federal Reserve was created at nighttime. I think it was Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, 1912. The Federal Reserve was created. While everybody was, lighting their fireplace, waiting for the reindeer, Santa Claus, the whole nine. Pretty much the country was asleep when they passed this central bank act called the Federal Reserve. And I didn't even know that the Federal Reserve wasn't a part of the government because they didn't teach this in school. They didn't teach this in school, but this book here will go in details as to how they created it, and it will go into detail about how the money is works in this country. And now you understand why we're in debt. How do we owe $37 trillion to ourselves? How does the government owe themselves? They don't. They owe the Federal Reserve, which is a central bank, which is why pretty much I believe Abraham Lincoln got killed, because he didn't get killed for freeing the slaves like they tell you. No, Abraham Lincoln got killed because he refused to sign a central bank act. And he didn't want to do that because he understood, the founding forefathers of this country understood that central bank is what bankrupted Europe in the first place. And so they already knew what this whole machination of central banks would do. So now I want to share with you guys. I did some chat GTP. I chat GTP'd something, but I already knew what it meant. I understood it, but I wanted you guys to see just how at access your fingertips are to knowledge. I tell everybody right now, I think, I like studying, I like reading, I'm a pretty intelligent guy, but I'm gonna be one of the smartest guys on the planet because now we got AI and we got Chat GTP, we got DeepSeek, we got all these things at our fingertips that if you just hit Chat GTP and ask a question, you're going to get an extensive answer on anything you want to know in the world. So it's almost no excuse for people to run around being stupid and dumb about certain common things in life. I mean, we don't all know everything. Some things we don't know. You gotta Chat GTP it or Google it. Google has been my provider for information instantaneously for years, but now I got this Chat GTP. It even goes into more details because it has access to intertwine itself and to link itself with so many different databases. It's incredible. But I want to go into this right now. What I Googled, and I am explaining to you guys, not Googled, but what I Chat GTP. Excuse me. It says a central bank is a national financial institution responsible for managing a country's monetary policy. Hold up, let's stop right there. It manages the monetary policy. That's deep. That means that they determine what the money policy is going to be, what the policy about money is going to be. They create the rules. Then it says they regulate the money supply. Oh my goodness. That means they print money. They just print money. And the overseeing of the banking system. So they regulate the banking systems. Okay. They tell the banks what they can do and what they can't do. It typically controls interest rates, which basically controls inflation. It issues currency. Again, they print the money and aims to ensure financial stability. Central banks also act as lenders of the last resort during financial crisis, supporting economic growth and maintain low inflation. I want to go over that right quick. No, they do not. They're who are they lending the money to? It says central banks also act as lenders. They loan money to countries. This is how we owe $37 trillion. This is why the founding forefathers of this country did not want a central bank, because they knew it would bankrupt the country. Because whenever there's government spending, like if you look at right now, for what's USAID, there's been so much excess spending. There's been so much corruption and money that shouldn't have been spent. The taxpayers is paying, but we got to go borrow money from the central bank, from the Federal Reserve, to pay this back. And right now we had a $37 trillion debt. I don't know if they ever can pay that back. Okay, so it also says that they maintain low inflation. They don't do that. They actually create hyperinflation. They do not keep low inflation. As anybody out there watching me right now, tell me, is inflation low? So that disproves this whole statement of the purpose of a central bank. Central banks hyperinflate currencies because they just keep printing currencies. This is why I started doing crypto. Cryptocurrency cannot be printed. It's something that is created and it's a set supply of whenever it's created. Like Bitcoin, for instance, is 21 million. That's it. It's never can be more created. Ethereum, same thing. Monero, same thing. Litecoin, same thing. Postchain, same thing. These cryptocurrencies have a set number. That's it. When they're created, that's it. You can't just print them. So we don't have inflation in crypto, and it's not overseen by the bank. It's not supplied by the bank. Like I said, money supply. It's not overseen. It's not issued by the bank. It's the people's currency that we can issue. We can actually distribute it and transact it amongst each other. Examples include the Federal Reserve in the United States. So just like I said, this is all based on a central bank. And this is what they say when they say the G20. When they talk about the G20 in the world, they're talking about the 20 central banks around the world. It used to be the G7, all the government seven. That's what they say. Oh, the government seven, the seven main governments. No, it's the seven main central banks. That's what it is. These are people that regulate the world, and they go as far back as when you read the Bible and it talks about the money changers, And when I read the Bible, I see that that's the only time that Jesus got upset in the Bible. I'm sure he got upset more in his life, but there's 18 missing years out the Bible of Jesus' life. That's a whole nother story. But the times that I see in the Bible, the only time I saw him really get upset is with the money changers. And the money changers are those individuals that learn how to manipulate interest rates and learn how to extort people legally and loan shark people legally, and they call themselves central bankers or international bankers. So this is something we all need to read, because we're living in a time right now where you need to understand money. Because one of the reasons I set up my channel back in 2017, I taught over 600 to 700 people in the Family Cash Machine. I know that to be true because I had a website called the Family Cash Machine, and I had students in my courses, which I'm redoing these courses now because so much stuff has changed in our economic structure and the global economics. It requires me to change a lot of different things because money doesn't sit still. It changes, and economies don't sit still. They change. So I have to upgrade these courses for people to understand, because anybody that you know that's really successful, that got a lot of money, they understand money. They've mastered money. So that's how these families come here. A lot of families come here as immigrants before the Great Depression. A lot of families, Italian families, Irish families, British families, came from all over the world, or Asian families. And after 2 or 3 generations, they are wealthy because they understand money. They might have had 2 or 3 generations working, and then a couple of generations that went through college and went to school and did this. They had life insurances, they had corporations, they had trust funds. And then after so many generations, they're wealthy and they never look back. So it's not like it's hard to do. And we're living in a day and a time right now where money is changing so fast, it's creating opportunities for people to become multimillionaires overnight. And so, being that you have the opportunity to become a multimillionaire overnight, you must learn money. And if you learn money, you can actually expedite this process and maintain that status and catapult your family to a whole nother position. But you got to learn. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign out, guys. This is EB Crypto. Thanks for listening. I want you guys to like and subscribe to my channel. I have an ebook out called The Greatest Exchange of Wealth in History, where I cover a lot of this different stuff to get you up to speed. It's like a quick speed to get you up to speed real quick, from a layman's level all the way up to an advanced level. Overnight, you'll learn within a couple of weeks how to understand some of the high technological terminology and cryptocurrency, as well as economics and governmental stuff, real fast. And so the greatest exchange of wealth right now, you guys contact me. I'll get you guys that. And then we also are creating our courses. If you're interested in those courses, contact me right now. We have several courses already ready for you guys to start learning. And these courses are not just teaching you money. These courses show you how to get the money. So if you're interested, get in touch with me. Again, like I said, like and subscribe to the channel, because they got bots out now trying to stop my channel from getting to the average people, because a lot of stuff I'm showing you guys, they don't want you to know. So please like and subscribe to, fight off these bots from suppressing and keeping my information from average people understanding these high complex things that I make so simple for you guys to understand. All right, with that, deuces.
Critical Classy.